Welcome to Torque Sport.
Good morning everyone. So today we're going to be going outside and my dad is doing his the coilover install on his CRV, so we're going to go and have a look at that and record that and see the difference as the first instalment of the CRV project build. Stay tuned and enjoy. So firstly here we use a 17mm socket on a Ugga Dugga gun to loosen the track rod end. You can also now see here, we're just finger tighten the nut on there to protect the threads, and then we're going to use a persuasion device to free up turn the shock to free up the actual ball joint part of the steering arm, just so that lifts up by hand really easily rather than having to try and force it out. And here we're just going to undo the hub from the shock. And you'll just see this now. I'll fast forward it so it doesn't seem to take so long. Given that this is quite an old vehicle now, and I imagine these have never been off, it has now turned into what you can now see as a two-man job to undo. But yeah, definitely doing this again would advise that you pre-spray everything with penetrant or something similar, because some of these bolts are really tight, and you'll see some of the problems we run into a bit later on in the video. Then finally, just to free up the hub to be moved away from the shock now, is simply just undoing the little clamp to hold on the brake hose, and then yeah, but as you'll see now, we're about to pull it out. Out with the old and in with the new. Well, that looks much better, doesn't it? So on the track rod end, where you can see this arrow pointing now, it didn't quite sit in there properly because these coilovers obviously weren't meant for a CRV. The track rod ends are probably slightly different than those of like an EP3 or EM2, etc. So literally all we had to do, it was very close to just fitting in there, but it just needed slight filing because it's slightly tapered. If you are fitting like for like as we have here, then you will see exactly what we mean, but it didn't require much to take out, but just a little bit just to get it to sit flush. But we done this at a later date, and I don't think I got it on camera, so and just like that, the fronts are now being buttoned up. Easy, huh? We'll wait until you see what the back was like. The front coilovers fitted, just trying on the new wheels. Fit alright, didn't they? Once that's aligned, that'll be just right. Look right on there, to be fair, didn't they? Sits a lot better than the stock height. Hello, so yeah, we are now doing the rear coilovers. Done the other one because it's quite a hard job, so we just want to make sure they were coming off because before we tried them they were really seized on. I'll show you in a minute on the rear coilovers. We had to drill out a hole so it's slightly bigger than the fitment of the ones that were on there. So you see here, holes drilled out to 14mm. I don't know what it was before, I think it might have been a 12. Also to be fitted are these max speed and rods adjustable toe arms. So after waking up from my night shift sleep, I come down to Dad already starting the rears, and you can already see things are looking pretty tight, pretty seized, but most things, for the best part, come off alright in the end, apart from the bottom shock part, which you'll see very shortly.
If we undo the top now, strut.
So as Dad says there, we undo the top of the strut to help push rear shock out. But already what we have done is ground the bottom of the shock, which you'll see in a second, and then basically chiseled it with a high and almighty snap-on screwdriver and actually a proper chisel. Like I say, just to wedge and break the rest of that metal there that you can't actually get to with a grinder. So that was the first pain, the first of the beginning of all the problems. So as you've probably noticed from the rest of the video, you can see how stuck everything has been so far. Now, if you notice that your bottom shock bolt on the rear is tight, as in unbelievably tight, simply don't even try it, because you'll see the nightmare we've had. We had to grind it, chisel it, spread the little gusset on the trailing arm there apart. It was just a nightmare, and if we were to do it again, we'd 100% just buy a new trailing arm, and that is 100%. And I can't stress enough, that is the best way to do this. So please, if you're doing this and you notice that bolt is seized, just stop where you are and order a new trailing arm, because it's much easier than what you're about to see. So the actual problem, I believe, is that Honda don't actually grease this bolt up going in the little like metal collet that sits within the bottom part of the shock. And by them doing this over time, obviously water gets in there and it rusts and corrodes, and they just basically like bind together. So it's virtually impossible to get this out normally. As you can see here, we tried a grinder, we tried heat, tried prying it down, using a big bar to pull it down. Just not a lot really worked. Just had to really butcher it with a grinder until we could get it out, to be honest. So many grinding, 9 hernias and a pain in the bum later, and we have it off. It's very hot, as you can see there. I'm going to put that down because it's very hot. As you can see there, not a lot left to that thread, which probably explains why it was a pain in the bum to get off. But they are known on their EP3s and CRVs and that to get stuck there. They're like, because they don't grease them when they fit them. All of this just, as you can see there, it's all corroded, and that gets stuck in there. So I've had to cut all of the shock and everything apart basically just to get that off. Not a fun job. That was literally just to remove it, so yeah, now that's off. I'm just going to chuck the new coilover in kind of loosely. We'll order a new bolt for the shock. So yeah, getting wet now, pouring down rain as always, and yeah, Dad just measured the standard camber control arm at the top. I can't remember what he said it was, 60, wasn't it? 60 mil from, no, not 60 mil, 160 from bolt to bolt, 260 from bolt to bolt, and then yeah, that was put on to just kind of match before alignment. You can see all that's on. This isn't in properly because, as I explained before, the bolt's a bit dead. Hopefully it'll be a case of just getting a new bolt and the threads aren't all mangled up inside. But yeah, so that's all on now anyway. As I said, just a bolt really, and that's all that's needed to finish that off. And then alignment, and then the new wheels, and hopefully that'll be everything. Just, ow, I'm kneeling on so many tools. Bit low, which is a shame. It does look alright at that height, but yeah, just gotta move that down a little bit. Up, down, up. Need to go up. But yeah, he's quite stiff as well. So you just want to push on that quickly. Push on that way. You can kind of see it's not really a lot of flex. You can even see the car moving. Yeah, this is why it's important to get your alignment done after fitting all this. Look at the front wheel now. So it's more or less straight.
Yeah, well out.
Steering wheel's like that.
What are you recording that for?
Funny, isn't it? That's like that. Hello guys, so yeah, we're coming up to the final stages of the CRV suspension build now. I'll explain to you what has been done to get everything working and fitted, because there's a few things that Dad's done while I've not been here or I've been at work that were required to get things to fit well. So I'll run through what they are now, and yeah, just the camber bolts and then the wheels can go on. Edit, we haven't done the camber bolts because they're too big.
Too small.
Too small, sorry. Well, so they rattle around the hole, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the actual camber bolts are too small for the hubs on these. It's all a bit trial and error on this, because all the parts that fit on this all require minimal modification. There's not a lot of detail on any of this online because it's all not really been done that much, so it's quite hard to find what works. It's a bit trial and error for us at the minute, but everything has been done. In relation to steering arms, the standard ones were too long once the coilovers were on, so it made the wheels, as you saw before, like that. But yeah, coming around this side, you'll see now the wheels are actually on. sits quite well now with enough room in there for a bit of movement. So maybe this side do a little bit more camber perhaps. That sits pretty much bang on, to be fair. So yeah, it's more or less now just a case of getting it aligned. We'll go out once it has been aligned and see what it feels like, and I'll get that on video as well. But it's probably not best to drive it until the alignment is done, because if things are out you start destroying your tyres obviously. So yeah, to conclude this video, I come downstairs and yeah, we didn't use the camber bolts in the end because they were too small, basically sloppy in the holes. They were for EP3 FN2, and the holes on the CRV hubs are just too big. They all sit pretty flush, so it's quite good. Just still need a little bit of alignment. But yeah, what we basically had to do is use EP3 hard race shortened steering arms, because there was no adjustment in the long ones. They were just far too long for the lowered height. And extended track rod ends, again they were for EP3. The coilovers I believe are for EM2, which is a 1.7 VTEC engine D17. Again, a lot of it's trial and error fitting for us, because there's not really a lot of information on what you need to lower and put all these on coilovers. If you remember, on this back wheel we had a bit of issue getting that bolt off in the back there, which you'd see earlier in the video. So yeah, we ended up cutting that welded nut off and putting a nut bolt through there, because yeah, those of you that know, they seize and they're really bad and they're a pain in the bum to get out. So yeah, we done that and changed that to just a normal nut and bolt basically. I'll see if next time we take a wheel off we can I'll show you exactly what we done with that. But yeah, it's just a bolt washer and nut. And they fit well. It's all relatively adjusted, close by eye. Yeah, just got to take it to alignment and finish it off like that, really. And yeah, for the next time you'll see me, you'll be probably on the first proper drive, I imagine.